I'm really excited to talk about 20 different ideas for your sketchbooks. I'm not going to open sketchbooks and really show you the interiors, maybe one or two, but this is just going to be a list form of the different types of sketchbooks that you can create. Okay, I've got a list here so that I remember them all. The first one is a swatchbook. I put together a swatchbook of a lot of the art supplies that I have, primarily the pens, pencils, and markers. And there's a page in between each one. But for example, all the different types of markers, the brand listed, the brush pens, the Posca pens, the colored pencils, paints, and so on and so forth. And this way I can, whenever I'm shopping, I can take this book with me and figure out, oh, I already have that specific Illuminated pencil, I don't need to buy another one. The second type of sketchbook is a messy sketchbook, what I call my scratch or my scratches and scribbles. This one contains just any type of scratch drawings that you want to make. You're looking at me. This one is called my messy sketchbook. I made this one out of some leather from a purse. And I love to just draw just about anything in here. Let me see if I can show you a picture. Where are the pictures? Oh, it was upside down. So this is my messy journal. This is my messy sketchbook. And my son's laughing at me.
Don't you dare put that in the video.
This is my messy sketchbook, which I call my scritches and scratches, which means that I can basically do anything I want and not care what it looks like. It's my idea sketchbook. So I sketch pictures that look crazy, that don't look so amazing, and when I go to a museum or whatever. This is another version of that. It doesn't have a cover on it, and this one I just did curiosities at the Smithsonian and did different, something for every letter of the alphabet. Another idea for sketchbook is to make a sketchbook just of people. Like when you go to a coffee house, sit down and sketch the people that you see, or go to a busy place in the center of town and sit down in a park and sketch people, whatnot. Another idea is to do a black and white sketchbook that just has pen, pencil, graphite, ink, charcoal, everything just in black and white. I think this would be a really fun journal to do. Another idea is a monochromatic sketchbook, where you take the tones. This was not exactly monochromatic, but it has shades of pink and red. Let's see if I can, here's one that has just shades of blue. The next idea is a fountain pen sketchbook. Using just ink, put together a sketchbook that has line drawings. I think this would be super fun because it would help you develop a new style of drawing where you're not shading with watercolor washes or anything, but you just do linear sketches, curly, whatever, zigzag lines, but using just fountain pen ink. Another type of sketchbook is a marker and colored pencil sketchbook where you use Copics or Tombows or Artist Loft, whatever type of markers you like, Posca markers, and it's markers, just markers, and maybe Sakura pens, Micron pens, or you layer up and add colored pencils to it. Another sketchbook that's popular is an Urban Sketchbook. I have an Urban Sketchbook that I take out with me to be able to sketch in when I'm out and about in the city, architecture that I see, sites, cars, parks, museums, that kind of thing. Another type of sketchbook is a collage sketchbook. This is the most common one that I see out there, that people like to have a sketchbook that just anything goes. Whatever material you have on hand, whatever medium you have, whether it's markers, pencils, pens, just grab it and make some art. Those sketchbooks are the ones that get really, really fat, but those are a lot of fun to put together. Another type of sketchbook is a print and pattern sketchbook, and this is where you dedicate just a sketchbook to just putting patterns that you create, whether they're little tiny flowers, dots, zigzags, whatnot. The possibilities are endless with a pattern sketchbook, and whenever you're ready to turn them into a fabric pattern or a pattern for stationery or gift wrap, you've got a book full of ideas. Another type of sketchbook is a floral or plant sketchbook. And this sketchbook is an example. It has just flowers that you paint flowers, draw flowers, whatever, anything, but the theme is that everything in it must be flowers. On that same note, the next idea is to make a book of nature where everything in it basically shows things that you can find outside. It could be mountains, it could be plants, mushrooms, but one idea I like is to draw through the seasons. So we're right now here in summer when I'm filming this, and if I were to go outside and make a book of nature, I would probably draw pictures of butterflies and flowers and summer events. Like in this sketchbook, I keep pictures of plants and anything that has to do with nature, like mushrooms, flowers, animals, that sort of thing. The Book of Nature is inspired by The Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. My grandmother gave me this book. It was one of her favorite books. She used to keep a journal of watercolor sketches that she made from things in nature. I think this was kind of a common practice back in her day. This book is basically a copy of this lady's journal, and she also has it through the, it's organized through the seasons. It's beautiful. If you haven't seen this, you might want to pick up a copy. Going to the beach, honeybees, fruits growing on the vine, so on and so forth. The next idea is a book of animals. You could dedicate a sketchbook to just drawing animals, all kinds of animals, realistic animals, cute animals, and everything in between. On that same note, another idea is to do a favorite animal book and dedicate an entire sketchbook to drawing the same animal. For example, I love cats. So I could have a sketchbook and just draw only cats in there. I could do cats of all shapes and sizes, colors, mediums, art supply mediums like color pencil, marker, paint, watercolor, and so on and so forth. I could try out many different styles and figure out what I like, but I love the idea of dedicating a sketchbook entirely to just one type of animal. I also like horses, I like dogs, so you get the idea. Another idea is to do a food sketchbook. A food sketchbook would basically be any type of food, like when you're out at a restaurant or when you come home after being at a restaurant and you want to sketch your favorite food. Maybe you want to write out recipes and illustrate them, or illustrate the process, or illustrate just the final product. Another idea is a fashion sketchbook. If you love fashion, you might want to have a sketchbook dedicated to just drawing outfits that you design or people on the runway, of things that you've watched and seen that's coming out, maybe purse ideas, accessories. Maybe you're a jewelry designer and you want to sketch out your ideas of what type of jewelry you want to create, rings and bracelets, necklaces, and that sort of thing. Another idea is the Illuminated Journal, and this idea is taken from the Book of Hours, the medieval Book of Hours. I think it would be really fun to write quotes with a fountain pen and then illustrate around the sides. It doesn't have to look medieval, although I particularly like that style, but you could illustrate it in a very modern style as well. You could add gilding if you wanted to. Another idea is to do a children's book idea sketchbook. I'm particularly interested in children's books and I get a lot of inspiration from them. So I have a sketchbook dedicated to just the ideas of what I create for children. Book ideas, things that I want to turn into books. It could also have character sketches, story plots, vignettes, any idea that pops into your head concerning children's literature, ideas of things you want to create, just pop it in there. Another sketchbook idea is a cultural sketchbook, where each page depicts a certain cultural style. For example, when I think of Mexican art, I think of bright, colorful, hot pink and terracotta and turquoise colors, and it's in a certain bold, fun style, fiesta-like. And then there's Scandinavian or Swedish style, then there's Ukrainian folk art. So you could basically research the type of art styles that have been around through the centuries and dedicate a sketchbook to just drawing in the styles of other cultures. And the last sketchbook that I have here on my list is a Hygge Sketchbook. I believe that's how it's pronounced. I actually talked to a friend of mine who is Danish, and I think that's how she said it is supposed to be pronounced. And a Hygge sketchbook is a book of cozy sketches, anything that makes you feel warm and fuzzy and like curling up and reading a book, and having a cup of tea, eating a snack, cake, that sort of thing. I hope you've been inspired by all these ideas, and pick one or two and get out a sketchbook that's sitting on your shelf and go and put some art in it. Maybe you want to make a collage sketchbook that just has anything goes, any type of media, or maybe you like the idea of having sketchbooks dedicated to certain things, whether it's monochromatic or just black and white, or a book of nature, a book of animals, that so on and so forth. But figure out what works for you and let it help you create more art. Have a great day. Now, go and celebrate the life that you've been gifted.